Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's another WTA preview and prediction video, and we've got a really exciting one to get into here. Naomi Osaka versus Coco Gauff, and it's a fourth round matchup, and it is a clash of tennis generations, as quoted by Matchflow Graphics, and we've teamed up with them yet again. Please do remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating and review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Okay, we're going to break this down in a few different ways. So first of all, we're going to go into the little nuggets from Matchflow Graphics, talking about the head-to-head, win predictions in terms of the percentage that they've given, their ranking, coaches, etc. Look at the form for Gauff and Osaka. Then I'm going to touch upon more in depth on the head-to-head and talk about the matches they've played so far in their careers against each other. As I said, the head-to-head is 2-all, so all to play for in terms of bragging rights. And then on top of that, we're going to then break it down more tactically, and I'll ultimately give you guys my predictions. So in terms of the nuggets of information, they're playing in Beijing, and the Asia Swing's been exciting. It's a WTA 1000, so a Masters 1000 event. And yeah, I mean, look, I just think it's going to be a very exciting matchup. We've got in Naomi Osaka's corner, Patrick Mouratoglou. Wim Fessé, of course, is her old coach. And now for Coco Gauff, she's got Brad Gilbert, who now has left, but she's got a new coach in her corner too. She recently was with Patrick Mouratoglou as well. Rankings-wise, we've got WTA ranking of number 73 for Osaka. She's working her way back up the rankings. For Coco Gauff, number 4. Peak for both players. Osaka at 1, of course, just 5 years ago now, and Coco Gauff at number 2 only 3 months ago. In terms of age, Osaka is only 26 and Gauff is only 20. Win predictor is saying 60% in favor of Coco Gauff, so definitely I'd say it makes sense. The win predictor, that's for sure. In terms of form, let's look into this one. So you can see some pretty good results for Gauff, but no wins. No wins anyway. In terms of tournament wins, apart from the one in Auckland. So just a single tournament win, 74% win rate, which is very, very good, very solid. On hard court, it's been 75%. And what's interesting is, though, against top 10 players, only 25% win rate. So that's low. That's a little bit disappointing, I think, is what she'd probably say. 8 matches, 2 wins, and 6 losses. In terms of people she's beaten, in terms of top 10 players, Navarro in Auckland, and then Rome, she beat Zhang Xinwen. Look, I mean, it's been interesting, I think, to say the least, because she's made a lot of semi-finals, Australian Open, lost to Sabalenka, Indian Wells, lost to Sakari, Rome, Roland Garros, both lost to Swiatek there, and then Berlin, she lost to Pegula. So it's not been the best of years, especially since Wimbledon, where she hasn't got past the round of 16. In fact, she's lost in the round of 16 in 4 out of her last 5 tournaments. Wimbledon, Olympics, and Toronto, and the US Open all lost in the round of 16. 2 of those losses to Emma Navarro, and then once against Putintseva, which is very random, in Cincinnati, her first match there. In Beijing, she's looked better, beating Burrell and Bolter, and now she comes up against Naomi Osaka, the 4-time Grand Slam champion. For Naomi Osaka, it's not been an incredible year, but there has been some promising signs in her comeback. A 58% win rate. She hasn't played many top 10 players. When she's lost. So 5 top 10 matches and 5 top 10 losses. So not ideal for Osaka, losing to Zheng twice, Navarro, also losing to Collins, and then Swiatek as well, Roland Garros. And that was the match where a lot of people are thinking, this is it. This is going to be the breakthrough. And she has never been a phenomenal clay court player, but she played some phenomenal tennis in that match, in that second round match at Roland Garros, and had a match point against the eventual champion, Iga Swiatek. Look, I mean, since then, she's had some decent results. Round of 16 at Rome, that was a really good run, beating Kostyuk and Kasatkina and Burrell. Made the quarterfinals of Herzengenbosch, and since then it's been pretty lean. I think it's fair to say. Some notable wins against Parry, Jabeur, and Ostapenko since then, but hasn't been able to make some deep runs. This is a pretty good run. Bronzetti, Potentseva, and Volleynet. So she's got Gauff now in the round of 16. This is a big, big moment because if she were to win this match, I think this could be the marquee win that she's looking for and has been looking for since her return. And these types of wins can really give you the boost and catapult and especially restart, I think, her career and help propel herself to the heights, the dizzying heights that she had, of course, at the start of her career, where she won 4 slams. She's looking to reach those heights again and reach the peak of tennis. And she's got a bit of ground to cover, still, of course, because we mentioned she's not even ranked inside the top 50 yet, but she's making moves and she will, I'm sure, continue to strive to reach her not just formal glory, but actually, I would, and I imagine this is what she's thinking. She will be wanting to match what she did before and go beyond that, right? And continue to improve because that's what the great players do. They continue to improve their game, add to their game, and adapt. And I think she is a great player. And I think we know she's a great player. She'll go down as one of the greats. She's already won 4 slams. In terms of tactically, then, there's a few things to talk about here. And I was watching their matches, and it's very interesting because the matches they've played, 2 of them were in pretty quick succession. One was at the US Open 2019 tournament, where Osaka went on to win that, and then they played an Australian Open 2020, so only a few months after, and Coco Gauff won that one. They then played in Cincinnati as well, and Osaka won that one in 3 sets in 2021. Look, I mean, I have to be honest. The reason why the win pretty didn't surprise me too much is because Goff was very young in these matches, very young. The last time they played was 2021. That's nearly 3 years ago now. So, well, actually, it was 3 years ago. Osaka was at the peak of her powers, right? So she was winning Grand Slams at that point. In fact, sorry, the last time they played was in 2022 in San Jose, so 2 years ago now. 6-4, 6-4 in favor of Gauff. Cincinnati was Osaka who won 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. Australian Open was pretty decisive for Gauff, 6-3, 6-4, and then US Open, Osaka won 6-3, 6-love. So, look, I mean, I imagine it's going to be a pretty close match. I imagine we'll probably see 3 sets. But in terms of how the match has transpired, so I watched the 2019 US Open and 2020 Australian Open matches, and as I said, I mean, Osaka, this is the Osaka that everyone remembers, right? The incredible hitter, amazing angles, athleticism, fantastic serving, big returning, which is even coming to the net at times and finishing off the point and looking good. So this is the Osaka that everyone, right, is talking about. This is the Osaka that everyone is thinking is going to go on and win double-digit slams. Goff still managed to beat her in her, let's say, first prime, right? Because she beat her at the Australian Open and she was the defending champion as well, let's not forget. And she beat it convincingly. So for me, that is a really positive sign for Coco. She didn't really have a lot of expectation in terms of she wasn't ranked at the time and she was still very young, so she could play freely. Now I think she goes into this match and she's a favorite. So there's going to be a mental aspect to this one as well. I think mentally for Osaka, she's going to have to battle with the fact that this could again be a really good opportunity for her to kickstart her comeback. And then for Coco Gauff, it's going to be, well, I'm coming to this the favorite. I should really be winning this in terms of ranking. She also hasn't had the type of year she would have liked, given that she won the US Open last year. She hasn't managed to kick on this year as maybe she had expected. So this is a big, big moment. I think Osaka is definitely playing some really good tennis right now. I think arguably she's in better form than Goff in terms of recent form anyway. And the question is, can Goff, I guess, up her level against Osaka? And I think her style is actually, it matches well to Osaka's, and that's why even when Osaka was playing incredible tennis a few years ago, Goff was still able to actually beat her. And the head-to-head is tool, as I said previously, bragging rights are on the line. In terms of tactically what to look out for and what needs to potentially happen for both players to win, I think for Osaka, she needs to serve well. She's got one of the biggest and best serves on tour, especially the first serve. So make her first serves, hit her spots. She's got an incredible serve, and then she needs to play really good first strike tennis. So first serve, and then try and find. For a lot of players, it'll be try and find the forehand, but her backhand is just as good and just as explosive. That first strike just needs to be on point. It needs to be penetrating. It needs to be aggressive. It needs to put Goff on the back foot straight away. And if it's a winner, then even better. But Osaka needs to be clinical as soon as she gets an inkling, a chance to get on the front foot, to take the ball a bit earlier. She needs to, and that's what she did really well in her wins against Goff, was rushing the American. And we know that she can be a little bit a little bit clunky on the forehand when she's rushed. So if Osaka can take the ball early and make her rush that forehand swing, which you know can sometimes be a little bit elaborate, then she will have some success, I imagine. And then, I think in the backhand to backhand, it's always interesting because Osaka's got incredible backhand, finds really good angles, but Goff's is also very good. It's slightly different. It's not as big, but she also finds some good angles and it's very solid. So that's always a good matchup. I think, I've watched them in their matches in the past, and I'm intrigued to see how that ad court exchange plays out. Osaka won't be afraid to go into with the forehand as well, which is an incredible shot that she hits. With Coco, I think she'll probably stick to the backhand to backhand. She probably won't look to open up with the into in and into out forehand as regularly as Osaka. But back to what Osaka needs to do. She needs to be patient from the baseline. There are going to be times where she's going to have to hit some neutral balls, but as I said, as soon as she gets that inkling, she needs to be on the front foot and dictating proceedings. She doesn't want to be on the back foot. That's exactly where she doesn't want to be against Goff. She wants to be on the front foot, trying to be the one to dictate proceedings and get the points to be played on her terms. One thing that's important as well, I think, is to attack that forehand corner. And we saw Emma Navarro do that against Goff, and she had success both at Wimbledon and the US Open. So I don't see why Osaka wouldn't try and do that. Her forehand is better than Navarro's, and she needs to find those good angles, penetrate through the court, good depth, just rush Goff on that side, and be the aggressor. I think is really important. She will get mistakes. She'll get mistakes that she wasn't expecting from Goff in those types of exchanges. Then, if we talk about returning as well, she needs to be aggressive, especially on the second serve return. She's really good at that. For example, if we take the match we talk about, Swiatek at Roland Garros, she was hitting some return winners. Doesn't need to be return winners, but she needs to be aggressive and proactive on those points. Get into the Goff service games, push her, make her really think twice about how she's hitting a second serve. It'll make Goff go for more. She might double fault. We know she's had issues with that in the past. So something for Osaka to potentially try and take advantage of. For Goff, there's a few things. I think number one, she needs to make sure she's kind of hitting her first serve in, I think is the main thing, right? Hitting her spots and trying to make sure that she's not on the back foot in her service games, keep them nice and tidy. Because on return games, I think she will get some success. She's a very good returner, Coco, and despite Osaka being one of the best servers on tour, I would say Goff has this canny ability to make a lot of returns, and she will force Osaka to play an extra ball. And she'll know Goff that at times she'll have to scrap, she'll have to hustle in points and try and just force Osaka into errors. But on top of that, I think the most important thing for me is that actually, like Osaka, Goff needs to be the one on the front foot for the most part, anyway, because that needs to be her game plan. If she can get Osaka on the back foot, that's really uncomfortable for the Japanese player. She won't want to play on the back foot or behind the baseline or defend. That's not her game. Gauff is a lot better defensively. She's got a lot more ways, I think, to play than Osaka. She's got a lot more variety, and she's more dynamic athletically, I think, as well, Gauff. So there's definitely an advantage in playing aggressively when she can Gauff to get Osaka on the back foot. She'll make her feel uncomfortable. Gauff's got good hands in the net, come forward to the net as well. I don't think the drop shot is a bad option as well for Gauff, and I also don't think coming forward to the net is a bad option either, as long as the approach is good. So for Gauff, I think that's really important. And trying to hit with variety, chucking a backhand slice, hit a drop shot, as we mentioned. I think that's going to put her in good stead for this matchup. I think it's really important. And, if she needs to be confident on the forehand side, that could be something that potentially is a bit tricky for her. I think she just needs to stay patient in those rallies, try and find the angles. And look, I mean, she can go line first and try and access this Osaka backhand, but that ball line needs to be of quality. So if it's not going to be of quality, then she needs to stick cross court and just kind of, well, she needs to endure the pain, right? That's what she's going to have to, that's exactly what she's going to have to do, endure the pain at times and maybe vary it up, right? If Osaka's going forehand, then don't just hit one pace. Hit a lob forehand. Hit a slightly flatter one, more of an angle, more topspin. If she's feeling comfortable on that side, she's getting it hit to a lot, then she'll start getting more comfortable on that side. There's no doubt. So I'm interested to see how she handles that, and I'm sure she will handle it. As I said, she's already beaten Osaka twice, and head-to-head is 2-2. And this version of Gauff compared to 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago is phenomenally better. I can't say the same for Osaka. So she's on the comeback trail. So we don't know how good she can become again, but she's not at that level yet. So she's been playing some really good tennis. So let's see how she comes out. In terms of prediction, it's really tough. I think if you're going to be smart, you'd say Coco Gauff in 2 or 3 sets. I actually think Osaka might do it. I think this could be the breakthrough for her. I'm going to go with Osaka, and I'm actually going to go with Osaka in straight sets, which I think is a pretty bold prediction. Let me know in the comment section below who you've picked and why. I just have the feeling she might be able to overpower Gauff, and I think Gauff is suffering from a bit of just a lack of sorry, bless me. From a lack of confidence at the moment, whereas Osaka, I think she's got confidence in abundance right now. She's got a new coach in Patrick Morisoglu who's motivating her. She seems really happy on court, calm and collected. And I think this could be a good time for Osaka to face someone like Gauff. I think this is now the type of moment where everything might just fall into place for her. So interesting to see if she's able to get the win for sure. And what's actually very interesting, and I was going to look, is has Osaka come back from a set down? And she has, because she did so against Potenseva in this tournament. So she has come back from a set down to win. I'm just trying to think if she did it at Cincinnati as well, one of the qualifying matches. So she has been able to do so, which is a really positive sign, coming back from a set down to then go on to win, because there are lots of question marks around, mentally, was she tough enough to be able to get through that? And she's been beating herself up at times as well, and points in her career, and that's obviously led her down a bad path mentally. But I think she's managing to find that mental kind of steely toughness that she needs to really perform at her optimum best. So I'm going to go Osaka in straight sets. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and we'll see you in the next video.